Welcome to It's Up to You, a show about amazing stories from real people like you and me. I want everyone to be empowered to live the life they were meant to live. Today, we're at one of the many theaters premiering a film that was made right here in Georgia by two amazing women who had no idea to make a movie but somehow found a way. More about that in a minute. First, I want to tell you about a one-time single mother whose pure grit and determination transformed her into a real estate mogul. What does it take to operate one of the fastest growing real estate brokerages in the U.S.? Spend some time with Karen Burks of Virtual Properties Realty, and it's easy to see that committing to your principles and putting people first is the key to their enormous success. It wasn't easy to pin her down, but I got Karen to sit and share some of her passion for her business and for her people. Karen?
Hi.
What's this?
Well, this just came in, and as you know, I've probably been in my makeup, I've been teared up. We are second year in a row. We got a letter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution saying we are the top workplace in Atlanta. Woohoo! And we got this from the interviews and the surveys that they conducted for from our agents. 40% of our agents had to respond to even be eligible to be in this final selection, and I can't tell. I mean, I am feeling like humbled to my knees and with gratitude for the agents, and you know, that they thought enough of our company to give such a good survey.
Wow! Congratulations!
Thank
Congratulations! You. What I would like to know, Karen, is how did all this begin? I mean, this is amazing. Where did Virtual Properties begin?
Okay. Well, first of all, you know, the actual beginning physically was in, you know, the actual date was 1999, and that's about 15 years, I think, if I'm doing my math right. 15, it seems like yesterday. And it began because we were with a major franchise, and it was getting too expensive to build a team, and we were getting more and more successful. Steve and I, who's my son and partner, we were building a team, and it was requiring, if we were going to give them leads and help them be successful, it was costing us a lot of money. So I started the company at that time, and we just built from my basement. And it was three of us, and now we're over 1,119 as of today.
Wow.
So, you know, and I never saw that. It wasn't the intention to build this company. It just amazes me. Some people say, you know, they had this dream that they were going to do, you know, such and such. I was just trying to make a profit. I was just trying to have more income than outgo. And I thought moving, you know, the team to my basement, and you know, we would just operate from there, I could save some costs.
All right, well, she is the biggest entrepreneur I've ever known, and I'm the second biggest entrepreneur I've ever known. So I think growing up, I had to listen. I say had to. It's not the right way of saying it. I got to listen to a lot of her ideas and you know, businesses she wanted to start and so forth, and so I think you know, later on it became me kind of pushing her. I think I've pushed her to start Virtual Properties, and of course she's being so entrepreneurial, she's always willing and so forth. But yeah, growing up with her is she's probably the most entrepreneurial person I've ever known.
What would you say is the reason that the agents feel the way that they feel about this company?
Well, it's definitely my staff. They're right there, and they're available all the time. Their attitude is wonderful. They're servants. They have a servant type of a mentality. They want to help, and you know, it's not just a job for them. And I lucked into that. I'm very fortunate that I have that kind of staff support.
We are truly an adopted family to one another, and we're very comfortable in that role with one another. Karen is basically a surrogate mom to me, and I know that may not sound that professional, but it's true. But the thing that type of atmosphere, that approachability, because Karen is so approachable, Steve is so approachable, Karen is unapologetically herself. Steve too. People relax around here, and they feel no sense of competitiveness within this house, really. And it is like a home. It's really amazing. it's amazing.
I like Zig Ziglar saying, you don't build a business, you build people and they build the business. And I think that's kind of our philosophy since day one. And so we helped build a lot of great people. We saw the great talents that people had, and we recruited them hard. And hopefully, I believe we've kind of coached them up a little bit and let them blossom. And you know, I think our company is strong because of that. So we always say, I say, our staff could actually leave for a few weeks, and this would still be the best company because of the dynamic people such as you, Jackie. And we go after, and I think we attract great people, and then we think that we can, you know, do a little bit. I don't want to take credit for everyone, all the great people we have, because they were great before they got here. But I think we've been able to contribute, and that's just that has to do with all the people. It's not one person. It's not 10 people. It's many, many people.
How did you start 15 years ago in your basement to this level of success? What keeps you here?
Well, I guess it's a drive I have to be the best I can be, you know. And I know that there's just a lot more to me than what was there at the beginning. I didn't know what, but I had a drive to be the best I can be. I feel like, you know, God gave me something more than what I already had, and I had to take each day at a time and figure out what that was. Yeah. But sometimes getting there, really, you have to have the drive, the grit is what I call it. The grit, you have to pull yourself along some days when you really feel discouraged, and there are times that you really, I mean, seriously, you think, and stress, lots of stress. So I had to do what I had to do to keep on going to see where this thing was going to unfold. Nothing I could, I couldn't stop. And I have a lot of friends that on my tennis team, they're just content to go to the country club and, have lunch and talk about shopping. And I had to go, and I had to pass because I had work to do. But the main thing was I knew I had more in me. I just didn't know where it was going to go.
Wow. Well, you mentioned something earlier about grit. Tell me more about this grit that you're talking about. What is that grit? What does that mean to you?
Well, when you don't have a whole lot of what you feel like intelligence, and I never was a star student at all, and so I knew, I had to make up for that somehow. So making up for that was just a determination, a grit. You just had to study a little harder, read a little bit more, and get some journals on how to be successful. And so the grit thing was just making up where maybe some people naturally were smarter.
Just tell me, what is your vision for the company right now?
I want to be still the family feeling, and if we grow too fast, so we have people that want to franchise, and I don't know if I think I want to do that. I'm not looking to be the #1 biggest company. I want to have the agents every year think this is a great place to work because we're a good family and we're providing the services that they want at a good value.
Wow, that Karen, truly a woman of pure grit and determination. I just love that story. And speaking of determination, I had the opportunity to find out just how determined and committed you have to be to get fit and to stay fit when I visited Revolution Personal Training. Anna Smith and her husband Mike are revolutionizing physical and mental health. With a fresh approach to fitness that's focused more on mindset than muscle, Anna Smith is really onto something special with the Personal Fitness Center she and her husband Mike run here in Lawrenceville, Georgia. We're going to work out today. Anna, what are you going to do to me? What are some of the things I can expect?
Today we're going to find out what you're made of.
Okay.
You ready?
I think so.
Let's go. We'll do a lot of weird moving when we first start.
Okay.
Kind of wake up your neuromuscular system.
Sure.
It won't feel like working out based on what I tell you, and then while you're doing it, you'll think, it's like Pilates. And you think, cool. So what this is doing, this is opening up all the pathways in the back of your body. We're stretching. But we're also engaging that core and those glutes. And boom, one more. We're going to try it. So you'll lunge all the way down, stand up, try to balance, kick. And then plant that foot. 2, 1, plant it. Drop. Balance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Balance is a huge component of fitness, man. Step out as wide as you can and just drop to wherever's comfortable. Step back together. Nice squat. Keep coming. 3, 2. I love it. Okay. Nice low squat. Perfect. Elbows to knees. 3. Nailed it. Good. Go. 1. Shoulders back, head up. 2. That's it. Perfect. Inhale, exhale. 8, go. Go. 9, go. 30 seconds. Breathe and hydrate.
All I can think of is, I'm doing this unto you, Lord.
Philippians, what is it, 4:3 or whatever, it says, just worry about nothing. Just have faith in it. You can do it. 9, what a warrior. 10, last 5. Come on, champ. 5, 4, 3. She could do this all day. You got it.
Do I still have legs? Because I don't feel like I do.
Great. Oh, you're doing awesome. A lot of work right here. Look at you. Step. Come up and balance. Oh, look at that. Already improving. 6, we're gonna do 20 of these and then we're gonna take a break. 7, 14. She's not even flinching. 15, go girl. 1, 2, that's what I want right there. 3. Oh, yes you can. You're Jackie Brown. Let's go. Reaching your full potential right here. Yes, yes. I just want you to straighten your arms and let your body be limp. Inhale. Exhale, straight. 9, 10. You're an animal. You're done. Way to go. Woo! Good job, girl.
Okay, we're done.
She is an animal.
I feel awesome. Revolution personal training.
Good job, Jackie. Good job.
Running a highly successful national talent agency seems to come naturally for Stacey Robinson, a Georgia girl who happens to be a longtime friend and who has never ceased to inspire me. I recently spent some time with Stacey to hear her remarkable journey of faith and going wherever the Holy Spirit leads her. Who is Stacey Robinson?
Well, I'm Jackie Brown's friend.
That is true.
Well, I grew up the oldest daughter of 4 girls, and great Christian family, and so I had have a great heritage. And one of the things that I see as an adult, and I knew even at a very young age, was that I had a lot of my dad in me. He's he's a businessman, very entrepreneurial, very successful, and I've always been looking for, you know, my thing as an entrepreneur, just to be my own boss. But you know, I'm married to Robbie Robinson. I have a great husband and 2 children, and Evan and Erica. And so I'm their mom, and I was a legal secretary for many years before I had kids, and did some modeling, worked as a freelance legal secretary. So I worked through agencies, so had the modeling agencies that I worked with, and then the employment agencies, the temporary agencies, freelance agencies. And then I took 10 years off, which I call my decade of volunteerism. And so after that decade of volunteerism, after doing the networking and getting the kids finally in private school, I began looking for something to do as a business from home. Okay. And I knew that was my time. And you and I have talked about this as girlfriends before. You know, this is my time that we're going to try something or do something or look for something to do. Because you and we're so similar as friends. We've done a lot of, you know, we're very entrepreneurial-like, and so we're always looking for, you know, the next big thing. And so at that point, I had spent that 10 years raising the kids, volunteered those 10 years, but one day I was at a Christmas party, and my sister's mother-in-law, who I love, her name is Jackie too. Okay. She came up to me at my sister's Christmas party, and she said, "I've just finished writing a book, and my publisher tells me that in order to sell more books, I should become a speaker." And she said, and I'm like, why is she telling me this? And she said, well, I'd like to ask you to help me line up speaking engagements. And I said, well, I really don't know how to do that. If there's anything I can do to help, let me know. But she says, well, you do these networking groups, and you know all these women's ministry leaders. I said, well, yeah, I'd be glad to contact them for you. So we both kind of had a giggle because she never had written a book before and tried to become a speaker, and I had never done what she was asking me to do. And at that point, that was the exact time when the kids were in school and I was looking for something to do. So I started making some phone calls for my friend Jackie, and she had this book, which I was enthusiastic about, and the first calls I made resulted in bookings for her. Wow. And one of the very first calls resulted in an interview on a national television show, a 30-minute interview for her. Wow. And so I thought, wow, that was easier than I thought it would be. And she said to me, you're going to start doing this for other people. I know you are. And I thought, well, right now I'm just happy to help you if I can. And then all those women that were coming to those networking groups that I was doing, suddenly all of them were speakers. Wow. And suddenly a lot of them were telling me about books that they were writing or wanted to write or had started writing and hadn't finished, but they saw what I was doing with my friend as far as lining up speaking engagements, and many of them started asking me if I could help them as well. So all of a sudden it dawned on me, and this goes back to something you and I have talked about before. This became my Henry Blackaby experiencing God moment where, okay, this is what God is doing. He is opening these doors for me to help this person, and then these people are coming to me and they're asking me to help them do the same thing. And I'm loving doing it, and I'm using skills or things that I saw when I was with modeling agencies, and I saw how their agencies worked. I saw when I was a freelance legal secretary, back when they called them legal secretaries, and I saw how those agencies booked me. And I also saw how speakers work as professionals, as business people, and as ministers, as Christian speakers, because I booked speakers for my banquets at church and for a 4,000-seat women's conference that we used to do at the local arena. And so all that just came together. And it wasn't like I went to school to do this or I was studying and really paying a lot of attention and thinking I'm going to have an agency one day. But I had done these various things and always enjoyed what I did, but I saw all of it come together at that point 12 years ago when I was asked to help this one person line up speaking engagements. So very shortly after the Robinson agency started.
Wow, wow. So let's just kind of back up for just a minute. Okay. So you were a stay-home mom for 10 years. That was your volunteer season. You did women's ministry. You homeschooled your children. Then through that came the birth of the Robinson agency. That you really weren't seeking to do. It just kind of happened, and now your business has grown and you have a national business. And now you're telling me that you are an executive producer of a movie?
Well, there's a book you may have heard of called The Accidental Tourist. I'm the accidental executive producer. It was nothing I ever planned, nothing I ever thought would happen. It was something I didn't know what an executive producer did, and I didn't, even when Jackie Carpenter decided to do the movie, she said, well, Stacey, I want you to be a part of this. I said, well, Jackie, I don't know nothing about birth and no movies, I don't know how to help you. So I will applaud you and I'll go see the movie and I'll do whatever you need, whatever would be helpful. And she insisted, because she's that kind of person, because I made the connection for her. And so somebody asked me just the other day, what does an executive producer do? And I said, well, I think in some cases they write a great big check, and then when the premiere happens, they put on their dress and they go to the premiere and they see their movie. In my case, we are a low-budget film, beautifully produced. You can't tell by looking at it, but it is a low-budget film by Hollywood standards. And so we all pitched in. I made lunches for extras. I location scouted. I sat in on auditions. I was a part of every single production meeting and decision, and I kind of kept quiet and let the people, our partners that we brought on that really knew how to make movies, really make those decisions, but they were kind enough to include us in all those meetings and really put us to work. And it was something that I couldn't have dreamed would ever happen. It was awesome.
And I was sitting there watching the movie, and I looked at the credits, and I saw Stacey Robinson, executive producer. Stacey Robinson, Stacey Robinson, Stacey Robinson. What all did she do?
Stacey did everything. everything. Stacey did everything from listening to me cry, from running around getting lunches. Stacey and I, you know, we've seen this thing together since the beginning. Stacey's the one that has all the answers and I have all the questions. And it's been new for both of us. We've never been involved in something of this magnitude, but God has brought us to this place together and we've learned together. And it's just been an awesome process. I bounce things off her, you know, and I cry on her shoulder, and I will always say, Stacey makes me look good.
Well, you know, I know that you had an opportunity to work a little bit with Stacey Robinson.
Yes.
Tell me about that experience.
Miss Stacey. Well, you know, the thing about Stacey is that, you know, she kind of fell into this project like the rest of us.
Yeah.
You know, none of us were ready. We didn't know, and here we were, kind of put together by the circumstances of this project. And then she finds herself being raised to the level of executive producer. And one of the things that, you know, I had to say to her, you know, you've been doing the job. You know, sometimes God humbles you to realize that He knows who you are and what you've done. You know, with the Robinson Agency, she's been, you know, watching over lives, you know, executive producing people, and you know, she's already doing the job.
Wow.
And so it was a way of God letting her know, I see you, I know you, and you're well able. You know?
Wow.
And so I think all of us got a surprise out of this. All of us, you know, and so watching her get involved in areas where she never thought that she would be, it's a hoot. You know, it's a hoot.
What she's done being an executive producer was nothing short of, again, God. You don't walk into independent filmmaking with all the attributes that one would have in the industry. You walk in a faith-based film with what God said. She wanted to help her friend Jackie Carpenter, and through that need to help her, she becomes executive producer.
Amazing. I mean, what were you thinking through this whole process? I mean, were you just pinching yourself? I mean, wow.
It became a runaway train, and the movie happened very quickly. God put the pieces together very quickly. He found us the partners that we needed that make great movies. Triple Horse Studios, who have worked on movies like Fireproof that some people may have heard of. And so we had great partners who really knew what they were doing, and they kept us involved, and they valued our input, and our director, everybody was just, we were a team. And so, you know, I couldn't have dreamed what it would be like or what I could contribute, but it was an amazing experience.
Stacey, what's next?
Well, you really never know, right? Because all along my journey, I kind of just found the next thing as it came. But I do think that I want to really explore the opportunities that have come up in film and television. I live in a place where that's one of the biggest industries in my state. And so there have been opportunities to do more things in television, including helping produce your show. And I'm delighted to work with you on this and other shows, and then possibly a future movie. So, but still, the agency, I love doing that, and I want to just narrow my focus on how I run the agency so that I am able to do other things as they come up.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. No film school, no formal training, but here you are. That's amazing. That is the reason that I wanted to have you on my show, because I feel that you will be able to inspire other people. Who would have dreamt that? I mean, you know, you didn't, you know.
No, I didn't.
And it just happened, and you did it, and you're doing it. And that's what's key. I thank you so much for your time, Stacey. I really do. Served with love is not a phrase you normally hear in today's world, but I found an amazing little pizza joint in Beaufort, Georgia, Uncle Mattio's, where it's not just a phrase, it's their philosophy. Tell me about Uncle Mattio's pizza joint and how it came to be.
Well, Uncle Mattio's Pizza Joint is a family restaurant that actually is a quick serve concept that involved being able to create the pizza in any fashion based on your attitude that you'd like to have, as well as having signature pizzas. And the way it came to be is my wife and I were looking for an entrepreneurial experience, and we had tried 2 other avenues, and when we didn't act on it, they turned out to be some wonderful concepts. And so the next time, my wife told me later one evening, if we see another venture like that come about, that we're going to act on it regardless of what our situation and circumstance was. And so we walked into an Uncle Mattio's, and boom, that's how it came to be. And it mailed so nicely with what we consider our passion to be, which is serving with love. So
wow.
It was a match.
So serving with love, is that Uncle Mattio's philosophy?
It is Uncle Mattio's philosophy. In other words, what we're trying to do is make sure that people feel a little bit differently when they leave the restaurant than when they first come in. So if you come in a way where maybe you're a little down, this atmosphere and the love that we serve along with that delicious pizza is going to lift your spirits right up.
Wow, that
Serve
sounds
with love.
Sounds very good. Casey is going to show me how to make a pizza.
This is our traditional crust here.
So what sauce is this, Casey?
This is our tomato basil sauce.
Is that good right there?
Maybe a little more. There you go. Put some cheese in there, some mozzarella cheese all over the pizza.
Okay.
You want to do a veggie pizza?
Do a veggie pizza.
Cool. All right, so our Simply Veggie Pizza has 5 different vegetables. You got your mushrooms, banana peppers, tomatoes, black olives, zucchini.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
You want to have an equal amount of mushrooms on every slice.
So what if someone wanted to add an additional veggie on there, like bell peppers or onions? Can we do that?
Yep, it'd be 50 cents extra, or they could sub things out. If they didn't want banana peppers and they wanted to have green peppers, it would be no extra charge.
Well, I think I want banana peppers and green peppers.
All right, fill it up.
Okay. Like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then do it the same way? Whoops.
Yes, tomatoes.
Everything smells so good. All right. And then now?
Some black olives.
Ooh, yes. So how long does it typically take to bake a pizza?
Takes 6 minutes. You want to add some artichokes on there too? All right.
Do you have a scoop?
You just grab these out with your hand.
Well, I'll let you put those on there for me.
Yep. I'm going to put these on kind of like wheel spokes. We're going to put it in the oven.
Oh, it's a conveyor belt. So is it over? Is this where I stitch it?
Perfect. Great.
6. So should we get our watches out?
Yep, and get your stopwatch ready. Get out in 6 minutes.
I can't wait to see you come out. Ooh, I can't wait to get my pizza.
32.
Ooh, yes, sir. Here you
There
are.
you go. Let me get that number from you. And your pizza is served with love.
Ooh, thank you so much. I can't wait to taste it. Wish you were here. Let's see. This is so good. And I made it. Well, with Casey's help. It's delicious. Wish you were here. Wow, what incredible stories. I hope that you have seen or heard something that has empowered you to take the steps to create the life you are meant to have. I want to leave you with a challenge. Be the person you've always admired. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, in order to have the life you are meant to have, it's up to you.